Assalamualaikum and hi. Today I will be presenting the determination of accountability and liquidity in time.com Berhad. Before I start my presentation, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Intan Haslina binti Abdul Rahman. My matric number 272354. Issue and problem. Liquidity management is very important in every organization in order to pay its current obligation, which include the short-term but maturing long-term debt, operating and financial expenses. In this study, the liquidity ratio that will be examined in the current ratio of time.com Berhad for 5 years from 2015 to 2019. Time.com Berhad current ratio trend is not consistent and decreased. Research objective. First, to determine the internal factor that may affect the liquidity risk and accountability. 2. To find the external factor that may affect the liquidity risk and accountability. 3. To examine the internal and external factor that may influence the liquidity risk and accountability. Research question. Is there any relationship between internal factor and liquidity risk and accountability? 2. There is any relationship between external towards the liquidity risk and accountability? 3. Is there any relationship between the internal factor and external factor towards the liquidity risk and accountability? Literature review. The profitability used in this study is return on asset ROA. ROA is a performance ratio that is used to measure the profitability of a business by looking into the total asset of the company. ROA is the best ratio to be used when comparing a company to its previous performance take place by Encyclopedia 2020. Formula for ROA is net income divided by total asset. From this study, the firm specification, which is internal factor, and macroeconomic, which is external factor. Internal factor, ROA, ROE, current ratio, average collection period, operating margin, and CG index. For external factor, inflation rate, interest rate, exchange rate, and unemployment rate. Methodology. First, we use sample technique. We take 5 annual report from 2015 to 2019. And second one, we use statistical analysis and continue by data analysis and SPSS analysis. From SPS analysis, there are 3 adjusted R-square, Durbin-Watson, and significant value, which is p-value. In the SPS data, we have 3 models, which is Model 1 for firm specification towards accountability and liquidity, Model 2 firm macroeconomic factor towards accountability and liquidity, Model 3 firm specific factor macroorganism factor towards accountability and liquidity. Descriptive statistic. From the table, we know that the current ratio shows the mean of 1.9012, indicating that with every 1 ringgit of debt, it will converted with current asset of RM1 ringgit 90 cent. The ROA recorded of a mean 0.1127, indicating that it is less efficient in using its assets to generate income because it implements to every 1 ringgit of asset, which is generated to RM0 for 10 cents of net income. The ROA standard deviation is 0.0493, which implements the moderate voluntaries. Correlation. From this table, we can see that average collection period, exchange rate, unemployment rate, and CG index are the positive correlated. And also, the unemployment rate is the least significant by 0.051. From the table ANOVA above, this model does not significant value because the p-value is equal to 0.622, which shows that it is more than 0.1. Model summary. From this table, we can know that 89.90% means that the predicted are significant to the influence variable, and the Durbin-Watson positively correlated because the value is bigger than 1.5 and less than 0.3. Coefficient. From this model 1, The standardization coefficient beta is recorded at 0.430, negative 0.306, and negative 2.331, which indicate that this model is strongly inversely related to the liquidity risk. Conclusion and recommendation. As a conclusion, it can be seen that the interest rate has a higher significant implicant according to Model 1, Model 2, and Model 3 tested respectively. Therefore, the company should take into account the importance of the interest rate that positively influence the current income in order to measure and manage the liquidity risk of the company. For the recommendation, this study also have recommend that should be addressed, it is would better to have a benchmark with other industry in order to compare the ratio analysis. Therefore, it should suggest to future research to increase the number of observation and the internal and external factor that represent the elimination of risk towards the company, as well as adding other industry to be able to compare liquidity ratio. Thus, the significant result will be proven with strong evidence of factor influencing the dependent variable. That's all from me. Thank you.